Boom. There we go. We are live. That's right, folks. We are live again. Happy Thursday. Happy Friday, Junior. It is in the books. We've put it to bed. We're going to cap it off with a little bit of our weekly podcast. Let's rumble here at the Wrasslin for Life Network. It's going to be a good one. We've been itching for this Thursday night for a while. We did a couple specials, so to sit down and kind of dig into some of the stories that are going on here tonight. It's going to be a fun one. We got lots to talk about. Keep that chat going. You guys are going to drive everything we talk about tonight, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Basically, a crazy Wrasslin 2023 has kicked off, and we're going to have a crazy Wrasslin Q&A to talk about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We are live. We're back. We are rolling, folks. And like I said, it's a Thursday night. I hope everyone out there is happy, healthy, and safe and having a wonderful, wonderful week. Friday is right around the corner. The weekend is here. But before we get there and get to a big triple header Friday here on the channel, we're going to rumble through a whole lot of wrestling topics that have been on everyone's mind. The IWC, as we call it, has been lit a fire over the last few days, and we got a lot to get into. Of course, I'm Mr. Every Night KJ White, the Iron Man of YouTube, the man that just never wants to go home. I completely.
I was just saying, it's my turn to speak now. Hi, I'm Big Nick, and yes, Vince McMahon's selling the damn company. This is what we all want to talk about. If we do we have Saudi overlords in wrestling now? That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah, let's get into that right away. I mean, let's not waste any more time. But so the big buzz this week, I mean, we jumped on and did an extra 90-minute special on WWE being sold to the Saudi Arabian
allegedly
public investment
now denied.
Group. Allegedly. Now, it was recanted, it was debunked, it was shot down. And I mean, a lot of people, it was funny kind of how galvanizing it was. From the standpoint of the fans and the reaction to Saudi Arabia possibly owning the WWE, but as well as in the community, it was really galvanizing in the sense of you had this big like, I can't believe you guys talked about it, and other people were like, well, what do you mean? So it was a really weird week that way, like a lot of static.
I will hold true to this theory that was kind of, we're going to float this out there and see what we get. And what reaction we get, because we've heard the stories that Vince been planning this since he got sent to the door. But Steph resigns the same day that kind of gets leaked out, and then just as many people that are recanting that are the same people that were saying it, same amount. We saw sites like Yahoo and everything reporting it damn near all but confirmed. But it's been so interesting that WWE's not made a single statement during this.
No, they wouldn't. And they're going to be very quiet. I mean, I know you've kind of floated it out there a few times about we'll leak it and see. The only way I see that is it would be somebody opposed to the sale happening, thinking, you know what, I'll leak this out. I'll let people know what's up and let people see the public reaction, whether they like it or not.
Well, fitting then, I guess, that that happens the same day that Stephanie resigns, 4 days after she sat there and was holding a company phone call meeting, with the roster and everything of management will not change. And then 3 to 4 days later, management changed.
And the fact that it was her was even funnier, right? But I guess I'm leaving, but everything else is the same. That's not a change, right? That's an omission. But Dale, what's up? Mike, what's up? Steve, who else we got here? Jordan's in the house. Juice is here. Kayla, welcome back. Boss Monster, how are you? Edward, how are you? CJ.
My guy.
My guy. Mike, how are you doing? But yes, man, so much going on with this story. And we keep saying it is the onion of wrestling stories because it's just layers upon layers of now Vince is being sued. Vince is completely in charge. Nick Khan slid into the second spot nicely. Pause.
Well, McMahon's head of the board, Khan's CEO, and there's the whole speculation that Khan's going to get a nice little payday if to whoever WWE sells to.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think everyone is. I do believe I've read a couple reports about the optimism of even certain wrestlers where they were like, "This might mean better things for us as well." So a lot of
Well, it's
people are
better than the
looking.
Saudi stuff to where half the roster was about ready to walk.
Well, and again, how true is that? Like, I know some would be upset completely, but would the half the roster actually get up and leave their livelihood? Interesting.
It's just very not
Contractually, they're
Uzi.
pickled.
It's very not Uzi.
It's definitely not Uzi, as that one fan wanted to tell us during Dynamite last night.
Yeah, you saw that too. That's an amazing sign to have on
Saudi
that
is
day.
not Uzi.
Not in the slightest.
Chambers, I completely agree. And I mean, 2023 has kicked off. We just finished 2022, and a lot of our wrap up for 2022 talked about, oh my God, what a crazy year in wrestling. Vince retired, this happened, that happened. And 2023 said, hold my beer. And walked
Right.
right in with an attitude.
Yeah. We're still, what, 10, 12 days in so far, and we've already got uh, Mercedes Monet, however you want to pronounce it, showing up in New Japan. We've got Vince back on the executive board and wants to sell the company. Then Steph resigns. Then we
Yeah.
get the leaked rumors about it being, Saudi buying them. Plus, not to mention Jay White, his almost going to be done with New Japan and is going to be looking to go over to an American company. We had Adam Cole come back last night on AEW Dynamite. So, and we're still not even 2 weeks out of the beginning of 2023 in
Right,
wrestling.
12 days into 2023, and you just listed off the Coles notes of what has happened, and there's plenty more going on to talk about as well.
Right.
And of course, like I said, we're in the middle of building for Rumble, kind of, maybe. We're supposed to be.
Eventually.
But I mean, like you said, we're heading towards Rumble, we're heading towards Mania, we're talking about Cody Rhodes, we're talking about a whole bunch of other things. But to get back to the top story of the week, I mean, I want to make it very clear to everybody, just because it came out, like, there is no deal in principle, there is no handshake deal, doesn't mean that it's not a thing. It doesn't mean that it wasn't a legitimate leak. They
We're
know.
not out of the woods yet, folks.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a done deal. And a lot of time in these big transactions, you see a lot of this. Oh, so and so. It's just like free agents. Oh, so and so is going to the Mets. No, they're not. But you see these rumors, and it's just jacking up value. Oh, the Saudis are in. We better bring your checkbook. We got to beat them. Like, it really does try and cause that drive to maximize the dollars, as Vince has been on the record as that's his goal.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and we've seen now the story come out about how this may not happen until the middle of the year. And then you instantly pointed out, yeah, sell after WrestleMania at your highest value at this
Yeah.
point. And even we saw reports today of Nick Khan meeting with Disney's CEO and the president of ESPN.
It's fucking insane, man. It is really crazy. Like, we're literally following these people around, like the paparazzi, and like, it is insane to be this tied into the back scene stuff. Like, never in history has what's going on in wrestling taken the forefront over the wrestling itself at this level, man.
This is something, though, that you thought you would never see in professional wrestling, though, too.
No, I mean, it's historic. We talked about it. The number one story of 2022 is the fact that Vince McMahon retired under, the cloak of scandal, and he had to step away. That was epic. That was historic, and I keep saying it was not just a wrestling moment for people who are like, oh, wrestling marks. No, it was a pop culture moment, because you look through the history of pop culture and things like MTV, and then through the Attitude Era, how prevalent wrestling was in the world. And he retired. He was gone. The guy that created it all is out. So now it's a whole new world, right? Like, grab your magic carpet. We're going for a ride.
Well, yeah, because you thought him retiring
Thanks.
was
What I
an
did there.
anomaly, let alone him selling the company. Because we talked about, we
Mhm.
thought Vince McMahon was going to be that type of person that passes away in the gorilla position and all of that. That this man was going to truly go down with the ship, and now I feel like he might be doing it just from a different angle we didn't anticipate.
Yeah, I mean, we really thought that, like you said, he would, kind of go to his grave at gorilla position, like, and then, like, they cremate him and spread his ashes at gorilla position. Like, that's how they have to bring him around like he was the fucking Undertaker for the rest of their
He
careers,
was in the Undertaker's urn for the all of
right?
time.
It's in the will. You got to take Vince to all the shows.
Right.
But no, I mean, for him to just walk back through the door, and I mean, we debated it a lot here on this channel. And sure enough, here he is. And he just walked back in and then dismantled the board. Like, I want these two people beside me. Done. Voted it. I win. Check. Let's go. You two, I don't like you. You probably should go home. We resign. Perfect. Steph, your services are no longer needed. Bye, Daddy. Perfect. Like, it's just crazy shit.
Oh yeah, it's this, and to see that he essentially theoretically could have done that the whole time because Vince still has he may not have 80% of the stock, but he has 80% of the voting power. Um,
Which
so
is
no
crazy.
matter what they wanted to do, unless Vince was involved, he could have stalemated anything.
Yeah, and I mean, that's where part of this lawsuit comes in now, where, they're saying that he used his power to, essentially bully the situation, that he broke the rules, and then he did whatever he wanted, and it was to the detriment of the shareholders. And that's the going to be the weight of this lawsuit. And I honestly, right now, just on the surface, go, how does McMahon get out of that? How does he say no? I mean, if he sells it quick enough and then he goes to court and says, Your Honor, I made everybody, the share of 10 billion Saudi dollars. Let's go. Right? Like, maybe that's the argument. Oh, they said I hurt the company. Look what I did. I helped the company. Bye bye. I'm going to
I
go run it
still
now.
I mean, you're not that's not a bad shout if he's just trying to get in and get out as fast as he can. I still like the comparison, like I've said, of Hunter's just holding out to be Tony Soprano in this whole situation, and Vince is Junior Soprano, and he's just
Yeah.
gonna let this old man go down with all in flames of
Right.
thinking he comes back and he runs shit. He goes down in flames, and then Hunter can just stride in of even if it is, say, Comcast that purchase it or
Mm-hmm.
NBC Universal purchase it, or if it's Disney or who have you,
Mm-hmm.
of he can just slide right into a power position, or even if they manage to not sell. Because there's still the lingering rumor that Vince may not want to sell, even though all signs are pointing to that they're selling the company.
Oh, like, dude, it's a done deal because I think it's the out. Because I think part of this whole plot and play with Vince is the idea of moving it private because he feels like, you know what? This is my company. Fuck this shit. I'm gonna go back private and do whatever the fuck I want. All these
He
rules. I
still
wouldn't even
wants
be
to do that
interested.
at what? How old is Vince now?
But
At
he's stubborn as
77?
shit. Like, how dare they kick me out of my own company? Like CJ said, for using my own money.
But it wasn't exactly your money, and it should have been filed
tell,
under
tell that
expenses.
to the
Yes, yes, we could go back to that whole thing. That's
tell
still a
that to the
trigger warning.
egocentrics.
Well, that's what we've talked about. We've said it both, I think, at times from different angles of guys like Vince, guys like another guy who tried to take over on January 6th, guys like Elon, all of that have way more money than they know what to do with, or
Yeah.
than what we'll probably ever see. They live in a whole different world than we do. And just their perception of reality is way different. So Vince still, that's why you have the famous Vince quote of fuck him, because Vince thought he did
Right?
nothing wrong.
No, legit should be on his tombstone. Here lies
Right.
Vincent Kennedy McMahon, and then just in quotations, fuck him. Right? Like that is Vince in a nutshell, right? Like that's always been his way.
Right.
All the way through kind of history, that's kind of the legacy he leaves. What'd you do with that guy? Fucked him. What'd you do with this?
Pause.
Fucked it. Fucked it. What happened to that company? Fuck him. Like that was Vince. Like it's
See,
crazy.
here, I'll answer this question. Why would they hire JP Morgan to help with the sell if they're not going to sell?
Yeah, you don't bring
Um,
in JP unless you're going.
No, because they also have the media rights that are up for that. That's the big thing of this too, is they could just be working a media rights deal because it's alternative alternatives. Um, I think I just said the same word twice,
I
but
think you did. Yeah, yeah. I was
yeah.
with you though.
Um, Made it sounded compelling as shit,
There
though.
you go.
But I think they're trying to find alternatives right now. And like I've said before, if they aren't selling the media rights, they don't have anything to sell, period. So
well, and I mean,
they do need to facilitate that deal, and that's a crucial part of the deal as a whole.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's the pivotal part of the deal. Realistically, if you take the media rights out, you're buying a skeleton, right? Like, what are you really buying if you lose the media rights?
Right.
So that's almost specifically what Vince spoke to when he, informed the shareholders that he was going to reelect himself. This man, you'll see why I chuckled in a second. Folks.
Oh, I see.
Asking y'all shall receive. But that be wasting
damn
no
it,
time.
I'm Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And if I want to sell to Saudi Arabia, damn it, I am gonna do so. And I will fire Triple H. And I'll fire anybody else that got a problem with it. Damn it.
Can you do the whole podcast like that, bro?
You know what? You're right. Ask me questions, I shall not answer.
Well, the man, the myth, the legend, Vincent Kennedy, CJ.
You're damn right, it's Vincent Kennedy.
Vincent
CJ.
Kennedy, the brand.
Right.
The brand shall arrive. I was like, oh, it's not like I got Vincent up on my screen still. Cool.
Well, so Vince's biggest fans here tonight. So good that we're talking.
The one who predicted all of this, apparently, the insider to Vince McMahon, inside Vince's inner circle. He's hanging out there with Brucey P and Johnny Ace.
Hold on, can somebody say cut the shit for me? Yeah,
I think Victor already did.
Thanks, Vic. Thank you.
There you
Vic.
go.
But you said this to the wrong person. Somebody gotta cut the shit. Look, this is my real life setup in the background. I just feel like this matches. I think this matches. Look, I think this matches.
How you doing?
That you're saying the real thing. Cut the shit.
Well, CJ, now that you're here, speaking of cutting the shit,
what did I miss?
You missed the fact that WWE was not sold to Saudi Arabia.
Yes, that's crazy though. It was funny. I mean, I think we pretty much almost all knew it. Now I'm being called fucking Vince's biggest mark. Like, goddamn. Look what you done started, KJ.
Number one fan club member.
This is some BS. Yeah, right. No damn chance in hell that I'll be his biggest mark. But no, for real though, like I think we pretty much all knew that it was going to be like a little hoax or whatever, but it was still that. Oh, it could really happen because, like you were saying, Saudi was paying them a lot of money as is. So I mean, pay $1 billion coming for for 2 shows a year. I might as well give you $10 billion for the whole damn company.
Absolutely. So, and I mean, we talked about that. We went live, and to be very clear to everybody who's watching, I mean, again, that's what we do here. We follow the stories, right? I think our channel did a very good job of presenting everything about what was happening with Saudi Arabia as a possibility.
Right.
And everything you just said, we said on the other night, and it was accurate. Like, why wouldn't they be viable competitors? Like, they're dropping a couple bill a year already. Shit, we can own all of it. We can move it here. We can have Monday Night Raw in Riyadh. Yes.
Give me Yokozuna. Give me Hulk Hogan.
Waiting for like the
Mr. Perfect. Where you at? Ric Flair. You can have all of your last matches.
Right? Karrion Kross becomes Hulk Hogan. McIntyre becomes Piper.
All right. Mansoor just leaving WrestleMania with both belts.
Yo, I think that may have been one of the funniest memes I did see was Mansoor in the face of Roman Reigns.
But so I'll ask you this, CJ. I'm of the theory that they floated that out there and realized the backlash, or it got leaked, whether it got leaked unintentionally or whatever. That was very much a viable option. Now I think they realized they got their hand caught in the.
It's a viable option still.
Right. So I mean, honestly,
the timing with Steph stepping down makes too much sense.
That part for sure. But I mean, honestly, let's say for instance, even if WWE does sell to anybody else, I still think that we're gonna get the same reaction, and it's gonna get worse and worse. I mean, once we figure out, I'm telling you, as soon as Disney has bought WWE, we're gonna see fucking Roman Reigns just dressed up as fucking Mickey Mouse. Like I can already see it. We're gonna see that happen. It's gonna be
coming out looking like Pluto.
Right.
I mean, no matter who they sell to, you're right. The IWC is going to eat this up. They're going
No
to.
matter what.
Doesn't matter who they go to. There'll be some funny fucking spin to it. There ain't.
But I still think that there's a difference between Saudi and like.
Oh yeah.
The Saudi thing is completely viable to me. And again, when we're dealing with Vincent McMahon, the fact that he's like part of this thing of, we'll float it out there, and if the public freaks out, we won't do it. Not Vince. If Vince gave a fuck about any of us or what any of us thought, he wouldn't even be in that chair right now. He'd be sitting at home playing with his fucking pudding. I don't know. But I mean, realistically, Vince does not give a flying fuck. And if you need proof that Vince doesn't care about the fans, go watch the last 3 years of Raw under his guard, where he just fucking recycled everything and dumped it on us and didn't give two shits what the show did. It was all a money grab. It was all about the Benjamins. So I don't think he floated shit out. If anything, like I said, somebody opposed to the deal might have floated it out to prove a point. But the guy's got 81% of the voting power. What do you say to him?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, this man, what is he, 77, right?
Yes.
So what the fuck is he doing even in WWE? Like, why do you want to be in WWE that bad? Like, I understand. Like, right. I mean, like, it's like we understand that it's your company, but the way that he's going about it is really shitty. But at the same time, if it has things to do with like loyalty and trust, then that's understandable to a certain extent. But if it's just because I'm a greedy fucker, then okay, we got a different issue. Look, we got a different issue on our hands now.
Well, it's interesting that WWE hasn't put out a single statement, regardless of whether the Saudi thing was leaked, whether it was alleged, whether it's still an option. They haven't said the stock's gone up and the stock's gone down, and they've had it coming from both ways, and both pretty much sources just about the same numbers, same credibility on both of saying whether it was going to happen and it wasn't going to happen. But WWE has not said a peep about it.
Yeah, and they won't, because they need like the buzz, having it be a top story. Again, it's just good for their negotiation as far as, let's say it was just a ploy to see how the public would react, or again, it spikes interest. Oh shit, maybe this is real. Now we got to call Vince. Did you really sell? No, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. Well, what are they saying? And then you start figuring out what people can offer. That's how you get, the maximum return. And that's been his goal. Like CJ said, he's a greedy mother. Rick Ross, where are you when I need you?
Right.
Now, this is one thing that I have heard. It was crazy. I went to work and I was mentioning it to somebody. He straight up said the stocks went up overnight that day. They went up by 20%. When we heard about what the fuck, bro, this shit in my background is pissing me off. I don't even know what it is.
Went up when Vince came back and everything like that. And I know because it literally, I even looked at the stocks when we got off doing our little stream about it, whole breaking of it, that accusations of them selling to Saudi, and by what, like we talked about, because it would take until the opening business day, the next day, to it really affect, and by then the stock had already gone down 12%.
Right, yeah, because like I said, it was up 20% when we heard about the Saudi thing, but now, I mean, looking at it,
it's bounced back up.
It's down right now, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not down bad.
It was going to flatten out though, because it jumped like 21% initially when because the minute you start talking about this type of transaction and the influx of money, the stocks right up. So yeah, it did drop, and I mean the Saudi news would be bad for business, because if you have a fan base and your employees, and if it's collectively a optically bad move, it hurts that overall value.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean with all that feedback that we had received that day, I think that we can almost count Saudi being out of a potential buy service. But
I don't believe that. I do not believe that.
It's just hard, because it's Saudi Arabia versus the United States at that fucking point. Like, come on now. I mean, is Vince really going to be that damn stupid to sell for some money and risk losing your own? Like, you're going to, like, his company's going to die.
Because he got forced out, though.
He doesn't care. He just wants the money. If the Saudis will give him more than anybody else, cha-ching, goodbye.
Someone needs to take Vince's hand off the button, and hopefully, I guess maybe this lawsuit from shareholders towards Vince might kind of help peel his, old crippled hand off the button of sell to the Saudis.
Listen, I don't think it's a good move, and we all know why. And we saw the fan base just implode over it. And you get it; it doesn't, for us. But then people have come back and pointed out the number of companies that consumers are involved with that Saudi Arabia has investment in, and nobody seems to care. So,
but how many people know that Saudi Arabia is involved in those versus if you blatantly outright sell one of the biggest sports/entertainment companies in the USA, if I'm going to be honest, world, global, universe. I'll take Steph's term there. Their company's term, universe.
So WWE just hired, as of today, this group called the Rain Group LLC as a financial advisor. Now, this company is working with multiple big named companies. Now, Rain has also been in talks with Saudi Arabia once again for this talks. I'm gonna show the tweet to you guys. You guys can see it. But the Rain Group, they worked with Madison Square Garden, the MLB, National Hockey League, and Major League Soccer, and the NBA.
Right.
So in NBC Universal, but specifically on here, it says that they hired them discussion of the greatest Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia. That is the only thing that they were talking about with it. So I mean, I don't know if this is good news, bad news, but they got hired today.
It does speak to the connection. It's a group that has facilitated transactions and deals between these two entities before. So you bring them back in and they're already familiar with the players involved. It does work as a really good, kind of middleman to help smooth everything out. And like I said, I do not believe the Saudis are off the table. I do not believe that Vince McMahon gives two shits how people feel about this company when he doesn't own it.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Chris O'Kane just said this. You kidding me? Cultaholic is reporting Tony Khan looking about WWE. Me personally, Chris, if you ever listen to Cultaholic, I pray for you seriously because they release news so fucking late that the shit don't even matter anymore. Like literally, I'm pretty confident that in mid-December they were just talking about Sasha Banks leaving fucking WWE. like dead ass serious. Like this shit is stupid. So if you listen to them, I pray for you, sir.
I say that as I have their website pulled up, just saying, but
well, okay, here you go. He said, wait, not Cultaholic, my bad, a smaller channel. I mean, still, like, I don't know. they're slow, bro. Like, they're slow as
shot on a whole network just because.
Thanks, Chris. No, just kidding.
But no, I've heard that thrown around, and I think that's just for the meme. That's for the fucking clickbait. We've seen even Warner Discovery's interested in purchasing WWE, so you could theoretically have it that way. But to think that Tony Khan and Shad Khan are we're going to get the meme that everybody's wanted of the name on the contract does say Khan, but it's Tony Khan. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, it's not. And again, it's the man in
charge.
Vince
would have to agree to it. It's not like they can just, we'll put up all the most money.
He's spearheading it. Can you imagine Vince sitting across the table from Tony Khan? What a weird juxtaposition that is.
Like they're sharing a bunch of cocaine, allegedly.
Hold on. Wait, we went accusations.
Wait, what?
But that's the thing. Like I'm sure a million times in the last 2 weeks, Tony Khan has said out loud, maybe I'll just buy it. But listen, Tony Khan, his net worth is daddy. And that's where he's at with it. Now, does Shad Khan really want to drop? I mean, it's one thing to jump into what they've done, but to go after a multi-billion-dollar company, there's a difference between can doing it and should do it and wanting to do it, and I highly doubt it.
Yeah. So and it's so crazy. You remember I was telling you like Stephanie could have stepped down for multiple reasons. Here go another thing right here coming from Wrestling Ops. They said Stephanie and Paul with Triple H basically had opposed the sale of WWE. Stephanie a few days ago after Vince return would announce her resignation from the company. So I'm assuming maybe they really did have like a real bad disagreement and they were just like, fuck it, like I can't work here, because you're going to try to sell it while we're trying to, make this good. I mean, personally, I know for a fact this is a bad time for them to even start talking about sale negotiations because WWE is literally on a forward, upward slope right now. But I'm telling if they sell it, I'm okay with them selling the company as long as we get to keep the current, regime without Vince McMahon on board. With like, yeah, if Hunter can still, do all the creative stuff, I think they will be good. But if not, we'll start to see AEW being the top show each and every week. Once again,
that's why I hope NBC Universal buys WWE if they're going to truly sell, because I've seen reports and people talking and everything that they're fans of Hunter, so Hunter could just slide into that kind of Dana White type role.
That's Peacock, right?
What?
That's Peacock, right?
That's part of what I was just about to say, because it's on Peacock. Raw would stay on USA. They could even try and still work out a deal to where Fox stays on SmackDown and everything. Because Fox is interested in purchasing it as well, separate from them being under Disney. And yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's the interesting part about all this. Now with Stephanie, I mean, if you found out that there was a potential...
sorry, real quick. That's what I was going to bring up.
We're back.
Do you find it interesting that 3 to 4 days after she holds a rally call of management's not going to change, Vince being here isn't going to change anything, and then she steps down, and not only steps down, resigns from the company totally?
I think at the time she could have meant what she said, and like CJ just said, maybe there was a really big disagreement. For example, what do you mean you're talking to the Saudi Arabia about this deal? Yeah. I can't be involved in that. You know what I represent. You know who I am. I'm a strong woman, and that to me could potentially be a huge sticking point for Stephanie, and a good reason why she said, I know I said things aren't changing, but I'm not putting up with this.
Right.
Yeah, not one bit. Like I said, it's very understandable. It's just, if you sell to Saudi, you truly have lost your whole entire company. But I do want to take some time real quick to let you guys know we do have super chats that you guys can go ahead and start sending in the chats today. If you guys want to get your guys' comments up, go ahead and send us in a quick super chat, and we will go ahead and read those comments very fast and first.
Help us raise the funds so we can purchase WWE away from the Saudis and everything like that. So we'll run it. We'll be head of creative.
Call Mark Cuban
in charge.
Right? The GoFundMe is going up tomorrow, folks. After the fans should all come together. We'll all buy it.
Yeah, so these media deals, I just look up the media deal for Fox, and even with the media deal with NBC, both of those companies paid WWE $1 billion for a 5-year contract.
Yep.
So I want to know what's the return on investments from both of those companies. Like, what are both of those companies making? Oh shit, here you go, right here in my fucking face. 233.
We mentioned this before. If you just read the next line,
I know, right? Well, I mean, I don't know if this is true or not. It says that WWE Q2 revenues grew 19% year over year to 265 million, driven by 233.9 million in media revenue. So I'm assuming that what kind of fucking deal is that?
It's because the way that WWE's revenue stream has shifted. It used to be on the gate, it used to be on live shows, it used to be on attendance, it used to be all of that, and even simply pay-per-view buys. Now we've got the network, now we've got clips going out specifically to YouTube and everything. Now that's how they get their revenue from. It's all about the media, all about the attention, the clicks, all of that.
Everything's monetized.
That's why they've cut away the live shows, everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean,
wait, the live show? Oh, you're right. Okay, yeah, I forgot they're not doing a lot of live shows, but they're doing.
Yeah, they've trimmed it down quite a bit.
Shit, yeah, you're right about that.
They can't draw. They can't fill buildings.
That's very true.
They never have been able to. Like, it's so crazy for St. Louis to be known as like a wrestling capital here. Shit, the crowd don't show.
Harley Race. That's what you're known for. You're known for old school wrestling.
I know, right? But it's crazy because we had Ric Flair here wrestling for South Broadway Wrestling. That's what I'm talking about. Like, St. Louis is supposed to be known as like almost like one of the wrestling capitals. Like, people came here to get noticed, and it's like our fans are like not fans. Like, they don't show the shit. But I mean, them indie shows get sold out. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it's just WWE and AEW, because them indie shows be out of there. I'm looking at the tickets. It could be 10,000 seats up, and I guarantee it's gonna be sold out for an indie show versus a damn WWE show. It's weird.
No, absolutely. But you need to bring the fans in. But I mean, that's all part of this deal. Everything's gonna be included. Ticket sales, where the rights is everything for this. So but it's a gigantic company. You're talking about gigantic dollars, and you got to find the right suitor to take it on. And a lot of people did speculate now that a part of McMahon wanting to spearhead, the transaction is to ensure that him and or the right people continue forward with the company.
Yep. And have you guys heard about the Nick Khan meeting right with Disney already?
Yes.
Yep. So he met with Disney. And they're looking at the deal between $7 to $10 billion.
Yeah.
So I think I low-key really think that's low. That's a low bargain for WWE. $10 billion.
No, I mean
I don't know. This is so low.
Yeah, but I mean they're kind of valued at in and around $5 million right now, right? Like their cap is set at about $5 billion as far as the overall value. So I mean, again, I figured it would be between 5 and 7. I think if they get 10, whew, here we go.
And now if they get 10, then we can do that. And I think that would be probably the best deal. And I believe if Disney buy, they would probably try to sell for like 8.5 billion, somewhere like right in the middle.
Depending, right? But now we have a bidding war. And that's why, right before the negotiations, 24, 30 hours before you meet with, with Disney or with ESPN, leak it out. Oh, fuck, the Saudis might buy. Run.
So I think if we had Disney, Comcast, and NBC and Saudi in the same room, I think we know who's going to win that deal.
That's it.
No doubt. Right? Saudi has 620
if we're
billion.
Just play, auctioneer, then that's a whole different thing. But does it now go to the counter argument that because of the backlash, because of half the locker room threatening to either quit, to walk out, what have you, that this looks, you're coming now as a weaker position in a negotiation of, well, see, you can't really take that deal because you look at how bad that tarnished your image.
No. That's an IWC perspective. I don't think it impacts this at all. I don't think it changes the value. Again, I don't think they give a fuck. Vince will literally tell Disney, even if it's not true, oh, yeah, we don't care. Saudi's offering us $9 billion. Can you beat it? They don't care about public opinion. He's not trying to be elected president. That's the other guy that acts this way. But yeah, I don't think this whole thing, the IWC thinks they have an emotional impact on how this transaction
goes. It's not
goes.
Just the IWC, it's also shareholders as well. That's why the man's getting sued.
Yeah, but they're not. He's getting sued by people that were no longer involved. That's why they stepped away. But I don't know how the lawsuit ties into this. Like I don't know how they're connected.
Yep. Now I was saying, I feel like we're on Fox. I feel like they were on ESPN, like we're doing this just Shaq. I don't even know the other guy's name. I forget. But I feel like we're arguing about fucking basketball and stuff when it come down to who is the best player, to actually take this bid and everything. It's kind of crazy, but I really can't wait for this to actually fall out and we actually truly figure out who the hell is buying it. I just pray that Vince stays away from creative up until WrestleMania. After that, if they're going to sell the company, he comes back to creative, do what you got to do. I'll gratefully go back to AEW and watch that show. Simple as that for me.
Yeah, and I think that is a possibility. I mean, again, it all depends on what the new buyer wants to do with all of this. But at the end of the day, if it does get bought by Saudi Arabia and American fans or North American fans say we're out, I mean, Saudi has enough money to say, all right, again, like you said, Raw from Riyadh, and the roster looks different, and it's built out of this part.
Saudi SmackDown.
Right,
so Uncle Saudi,
exactly.
Uncle
Saudi money.
Right, getting there.
Fuck it, look, it's already out, man. So yeah, we can A-Rab money. Fuck it. There we go. Stephen A. Smith. There you go. Stephen A. Smith isn't on ESPN with Shaq, right? No, I'm talking about fucking Charles Barkley.
All the talks, all the
right. That's Steven. That's Steven's fault.
Kenny, Ernie, and Charles. Then you've got Shannon and Skip. Please don't ever compare me to Skip Bayless. Ever. I will walk off this show right now if you compare me to Skip Bayless. But then I
can't even get to the whole monologue without you interrupting me. That shit was funny as hell. I'm like, bro, wait, what?
Oh, shit.
Oh man. Well, I guess we can go to move over to some more interesting
you missed it. I took my glasses off. I was waiting for you to go to put your glasses back on. Put your glasses back on.
Them boys crazy as hell. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I seen that, I was like, wait, what? But anyway, more president news right here. We got the weekly show ratings. I'm not for sure if you guys already touched on those.
No, I don't have those up at all. So this is you, my guy.
Cool. So I don't have my other up, but I'm going to scroll up to the comments. I know my boy Dale already dropped those up in the section for me. What the hell are they at? I'm finding them.
Right there.
There we go. Hello. Right. That's all I have to freaking do. All right. AEW ratings last night did 967K versus NXT doing 700K and Raw doing 1.693 million.
That's what happens when you have a national championship game. That's a blowout, but
that's a blowout. I'm hollering. Yeah, that's crazy because I thought they were. Well, did Raw even hit 2 million yet, or was they always still in those like high 1.8, 1.8,
high ones? I don't think any WWE show outside of maybe, I think there might have been like a random SmackDown or something like that hit like a 2. But I think still to see AEW that close to still not exactly fully within striking distance, but if they would, they're within reach. I feel.
Gotcha. Okay.
Of being, in the same ballpark of even say Raw right there with a 1.6, and we're just under a mil with AEW.
That's crazy. AEW's they're trying their best to catch up, man. Like we got Adam Cole being back now, so I think that's going to be a big blessing. Kenny Omega and them, they're champs again.
I think last night SmackDown was the best that Tony Khan doing what Tony Khan
SmackDown?
can do. No, it was the best of his to try and capitalize on, at that time, WWE's kind of negative publicity of, well, if it looks like they're going to sell, he's already putting out the tweets of everybody's been nice to me for the last 24 hours at work. So I think that was his best shot of the best that Tony could do, be that as it may, to try and win people back over to AEW. And having Adam Cole return is a hell of a shout, because there were some people, like he even talked about in his promo, that thought he was never going to wrestle again.
Right. Yeah, that was it was very wicked, man. When he came, we got good and bad news, and when he said the bad news, I was like, bruh, your ass is not retiring. Like, come on now, he can't retire on just yet. But I'm happy to see him back. I think the Elite is a different topic.
Go ahead, speakers.
I don't know how I feel about it. For it's like that EVP's title is kind of pissing me off with it, and it kind of feels like that everything that they're doing now is given to them just because they're EVPs, unfortunately. And I would love for Tony just to come out and say, hey, they're no longer EVPs, we're hiring somebody else to be EVPs. Now they're just fucking talent. Now if you're saying you're just talent, then I can't say shit else. No, I'm just gonna say, okay, they're just popular, I guess. I don't fucking know, but it's like, come on now.
I wasn't gonna miss this topic.
I was gonna say, y'all can have.
So y'all can have.
I keep freezing.
No,
I mean, okay, I thought it was me. I'm like, yo, you would freeze, and all of a sudden you would do like a quick ass.
Yeah, right. No,
damn.
I mean, listen, the Elite thing is annoying for a lot of reasons. A lot of reasons that I've been very critical of the Elite. And I will say, after Wrestle Kingdom, I went on the record of saying Kenny Omega needs to get away from the Bucks. And because he put on a hell of a fucking show with Will Ospreay in Japan. And if he could bring that to AEW, that'd be amazing. Good for him. However, the Elite, I mean, they, we have obviously the whole situation with they have the titles. They won't drop the titles to FTR. The fans chant them out of the arena and they get all sucky about it. Then they get in the fight with CM Punk. Your biggest draw leaves the company, or is in the process of leaving the company perhaps, or has been MIA from the company for this nonsense. And then basically you're rewarded for bad behavior and acting like assholes, and you get everything you wanted. Oh, thanks for keeping our belts warm. We barely let you defend the trios belts at all. And we just walk back in and we win it as everyone knew we would. And I heard people, like, you get guys like JD from New York who will shit on Charlotte Flair. But
I'm happy you brought that dickhead up.
Right? This guy would sit there and shit on, oh, great, Charlotte Flair won the belt again. This is a fucking joke. Yeah, but then you'll sit there and go, this 7-match series was awesome. It's awesome, bro. Yeah, fuck off. You, like, honestly, you talk about tricking people, pulling the wool over people's eyes. That's what this was. That's how this went. They don't give a shit. Where I talked about Vince selling to whoever he chooses to sell to, and public opinion doesn't have much of a sway on it. The Bucks are doing whatever they want.
Yeah.
Jericho is doing whatever they want. And they don't ask any, like, hey, Tony, we're doing this. Okay, guys, I love ya. And that's it. They just do it, CJ. And it sucks.
Now, Polo, I wasn't saying that about Charlotte. I was talking about JD, because JD, I don't know why I thought Omega said Umaga.
Umaga.
But yeah, I wasn't talking about Charlotte. I was talking about JD because JD is somebody I used to listen to, but I mean, he's too fucking negative for me. And it's just like, I understand that that's his niche, but it's like, dog, like you shit on too much. And I'm going to keep this short because I don't like, really talking about anybody else because everybody else is in their own lane and shit when it comes down to this. But that guy, I don't know. He do him, but I hate to see him on Twitter and he's bitching and complaining about each and every little thing. And it's so annoying. It's like, bro, at this point in time, you hate WWE so much. Stop fucking watching it. Like, take your ass to bed. Go drink. Go do what the fuck you want to do or some shit. Like, goddamn. And I pray. And if I show up on his fucking show, hey, free publicity. I'll give a fuck.
Yeah, right.
Tag me at CJ Brand on Twitter.
Right, exactly. And I mean, listen, it is what it is. And I've taken, we always take the positive route. This is a place of positivity where people can come and give their wrestling opinion. But I do take exception with a couple things as we do this. And I believe we built our fan base very much on, calling a spade, calling it the way we see it. And that's fine. But if you're going to shit all over everything somebody does and then praise and ignore the other shit, then I got an issue. And that's where, I mean, listen, I give Kenny Omega all the credit in the world for, putting on a banger with Will Ospreay. I didn't sit here and go, he sucks. Yeah. No matter, of course he won it again. No, fuck off. He earned it. It was a great match.
Yeah, it's like you got to give people their props. Yeah, but it's like I think he has a hard time giving anybody props, and it's so crazy. Like when this is funny as hell to me. Him and Sean just went back and forth at it, but JD and Jade Cargill just had a back and forth altercation as well. He kissed Jade's ass, but he didn't kiss Sean's ass. It's like, bro, are you scared to get bitched at by somebody like a true TV star or something?
In his defense. I take on Sean before I take on Jade, I'm just saying, and Sean's an awesome guy, but I'm just saying, if I had to pick,
if I had to pick me personally, if it's Top Dollar big ass, if his stupid ass want to come and talk to me, I'm going to take shots at Top Dollar before I take shots at Sean. And the reason why is because Top Dollar is somebody that's on fucking TV compared to Sean. This is a dirt sheet wrider. No disrespect to you, Sean, but I'm just saying,
but he's more than that. And I mean, big shout out to.
Well, yeah, I mean, I go get all my sources from Sean, so I don't
right. That's it, and that's what a lot of people do. I think and I mean, Sean's built up a lot of credibility, and when he's in the wrong, he recants pretty quick, but he's still a passionate fan. And big shout out because I know he's a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, apparently. So, we're in trouble. There's two big nicks in the background, guys. The show's about to get crazy. We got two big nicks in the background.
Oh, like, wait, what the fuck?
But no, my only issue with that, I generally don't bring up other people on their grind because let them do them. But it just like, I mean, I see so many people, and I mean, I see it the other way because you get podcasters like I find, like a guy like Dave LaGreca busted open. He's super pro AEW, so it's that same vibe of. Call it what it is. Like they had good matches, but a couple of those matches stunk. They were garbage. And this went on for 2 months. Like it was gratuitous and we all knew how it was going to turn out. And the ending was flat because of it. Because when we got there, we went, knew it.
Yep.
Now other fans will say, oh, it was amazing. The best 7-match series ever. It really wasn't. I hate to break it to you. It really wasn't. And we all knew the Bucks were going to go down and make a historic comeback. And they did.
Nick, are you moving back there, my boy? You good?
Yeah, okay.
I was waiting to let you get to your point and everything.
I would know because you had two of you was in here, but y'all was doing the same polls. I'm like, are you moving?
Yeah, no. God bless technology there with all of that. God bless New England weather. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Now, Big Nick, have you ever looked? I don't know why the fuck I just said your whole name. I just seen your name right there. Now, but
Yep,
have you
that's
ever
my name.
listened to Have you ever listened to JD from New York? Because you look like you would be a guy that actually listens to his ass and criticizes
No,
the fuck
actually,
out
I
of
That's
it.
really
hilarious.
don't really fuck
No,
with
and
that
the only reason I
much.
said this is because of they're like in sister states and shit. So I mean, a lot of his fans are New York and where are you from? New Hampshire and Jersey.
I'm originally
He's
from
from
New York,
New.
so way to just lump me in there of JD from
You're
New
there
York.
somewhere.
It's funny because you could do NJ with me or whatever, and then just I'm NJ from New York or ND.
Yeah, but I mean, anyway, moving on from that shit, I don't even want to keep talking negative about anybody because I mean they're gonna do them. They run their shit down the grave. That's on them. Like I said, shout out to Fightful.
I don't know what I just walked into then.
Well,
I guess.
I mean, it wasn't even
we
nothing
got on a
for
side
real,
tangent just because we
yeah.
were talking about the 7-match series and
Right.
how high I spoke of Kenny Omega and what he did in at Wrestle Kingdom, and give big shout outs as a critic of Kenny. I really enjoyed what happened at Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle Kingdom, and then it was just funny, like just talking about like listening to some of our constituents out there that like you watch it and you kind of just ignore the fact of what we just watched happen and how bad it truly was, and it's not great for business. It doesn't move the needle enough because nobody cares, and they just kind of ignore that and just go, this was awesome. It's like
it was a foregone conclusion. But speaking of Wrestle Kingdom, I wanted to ask CJ, I don't know if I've gotten your
money
and opinions on this and everything with Frankie Monet or Mercedes Monet.
Oh, like, wait, what?
Frankie.
Wait, what was your question?
Yeah.
You threw me up with the
How do you feel about like what was your reaction to Sasha showing up in New Japan? I don't think I've really talked about that since then.
So KJ, he didn't ask the question right first time, right?
I didn't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
We didn't get the
okay,
end.
cool. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay. So my reaction to her joining, I seen it after the fact because I was in my bed halfway dead.
Yeah, we know. We know.
Her showing up, it was okay. It was literally just okay. It felt like a normal WWE entrance where it's like, she's already been here. She's not no hype at all. She's just here. And the only reason I say that is because, like people were saying, if she would have spoken, I think Japanese, then it would have been a way bigger reaction. But since she was speaking English, it was basic. I didn't like her entrance song at all. The finisher that she did was botch as hell.
The botch
Money. But her overall look was great. Like I love the hair. And the only reason I say I love the hair is because it was something new. It was something different.
You like the Bam Bam Bigelow hair?
I don't know what the fuck that was, but it was fucking Japan. I'm gonna call it Japan hair at this fucking point. I don't know. Her Japan style.
It was so funny. I've seen leopard. I've seen fire. I've seen somebody said it was dollar bills. Like we were holy fuck.
What dollar? Now I'm gonna go look at this woman hair.
Right. I thought the hair. Listen. I mean, this is a weird topic for us, especially like what the fuck do I got to say?
Oh my god.
Like when CJ has the longest hair on the channel, it's funny when we're talking about someone else's hair, but
right.
But yeah, I mean, it was just I don't know. It was just overhyped to me. It was like, all right. And I think that's Sasha in a nutshell. Even the press conference after, she was playing it like a heel, and I thought it felt fake. I thought it felt forced. Doesn't come off genuine. It's not somebody like, oh, I want to see what she does next. It was just like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that this was overhyped. I think that the fact is, how we said, who was that was debuting in AEW, and we said this was the greatest. Oh, Jeff Hardy, him going to AEW. I think it was him. The secret was it was out that quick, and I think this is what happened with Sasha Banks. If Sasha Banks would have been in New Japan Pro Wrestling, unidentified, nobody knew about anything. Nobody, knew where she was at. She was still making fake appearances in Hollywood. And she just showed up on New Japan, then fuck yeah, that would have been crazier. But since we knew that she was gonna come, we already knew that she was gonna go after Kairi Sane. It only made sense. That was the only match that she could have came out on. So it's like, no shit. But
fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Back to a previous topic. Steve Chambers says may see Cole versus Claudio for the ROH title. Not a bad show.
But then you have babyface versus babyface, though.
That doesn't matter in AEW.
The babyface at this point.
That doesn't matter in AEW.
Facts.
AEW just books two people. They don't give a fuck. Babyface, heel, tweener.
It has to make sense, Tony.
Yeah, I'm just telling you, it doesn't though. It doesn't happen.
Tony back there to my no, it don't. No.
Yeah, right.
It makes my brain hurt.
If you're a true fan, bro, it don't matter.
You just want to see them fight. You cheer for moves. It doesn't matter about the people.
Man, for real, that's it.
And that's the thing. That's the worst to me because one of the biggest things I like about pro wrestling is the in-ring psychology, the fucking storytelling.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit if you hit fucking all of the chair shots and high spots and everything. Make it just fucking make sense.
Like, listen, we'll be back very soon watching. We'll be on stream watching live, death matches, and we'll watch people go through light bulbs and fucking glass and doors.
I fucking hate.
And we'll be right. But we'll be right here cheering for it. And that's the thing. Like, you can go at any end of the spectrum in the big spots and off ladders and all. I'm all for it. But you got to do it right. You got to make it make sense. Like you said, we're like, oh, the heel babyface. Well, who was the heel in that 7-match series? Who was the babyface? Well, if people go, oh, the elites were the heels. But how are they the heels? They were getting hit with hammers. That doesn't make sense. Help me, Ron.
No, they were just the heels of my hearts, I guess. So just I wanted to say, fuck you.
It feels like a heel in me arse.
My man. And that was kind of weird though, bro. I don't understand why people were upset that Sasha Banks didn't show. Didn't show.
Yeah, I didn't get that whole weird outcry of like, we were supposed to get Sasha. No, you weren't. You had a bunch of people even reporting she has no intent of going to AEW.
Well, that's the thing. Like, how do you get...
We want it, so Papa Tony, give us it.
Right? That's like being.
Hold on. Wait. Fuck that.
What?
Don't ever call the man Papa Tony. That's disrespectful to Triple H.
Tony, then I guess
Papa Khan at that point.
Papa Khan.
That doesn't even sound right.
Khan. I know, right?
Papa Khan.
Shaka Khan.
Oh my god.
Oh shit. But no, I really think that I'm stuck on Papa Khan. Who cares?
Papa Khan, Papa John, Shaka Khan, Llama John. But yeah, man, that's that with Sasha Banks. I don't like I said, I really don't understand why people were truly upset about her not showing up. I mean, I think in due time, but at the same time, bro, I still think that she may be with WWE because I mean, the next biggest show that's coming up for WWE is going to be the Rumble. That's where we do have a lot of surprise entrants and people coming back. And then on top of that, her next show is in the United States, right, in February. Yeah. So I mean, if you look at the itinerary, I mean, I would almost say she has more, possibilities of going back to WWE with Naomi. They could be a big deal working out.
Could you see her making a return at the Rumble pre the Kairi Sane match?
Hell yeah, because she needs to get some of that ring rust off. This probably would be a perfect opportunity for her to get in the ring, fight as many people as she needs to, and get the fuck out.
29.
I mean, right? Shit, who gives a fuck?
Line them up.
All I can say is this: if she wins the Rumble and she wins the belt at IWGP, what can you say then?
What if she wins the Rumble as IWGP champion and it's the IWGP?
How's she gonna do that?
Why not? Oh no! What if she wins the Rumble and then wins the belt? Either way, I was going the same direction.
I'm like January, February.
Back to the future, bitches. Let's go.
So back to the future, bitches. Oh my god.
Well, maybe that was part of the whole deal of WWE let you have Carl Anderson, and we let that story still play out. So you just let us rent Sasha back for a night.
Fucking or maybe I mean, I understand that WWE wanted to help Great Muta with Shinsuke Nakamura. That's fine, but I mean, you had Shinsuke in Japan, you had Bayley in Japan. Naomi was there. She's technically, I guess, still with WWE, I'm assuming from the reports. But then you also had Carl Henderson out there as well. So I mean, wouldn't it kind of like it? I mean, in my eyes and IWC eyes, it does look like that there is some ghost deal going on between WWE and New Japan.
Definitely,
we just have to wait to find out.
It's definitely friendlier than it used to be now.
Hell yeah. Even with the New Japan Pro Wrestling guy, the founder hit him, dying. They put him on WWE. So I mean, then all of a sudden we're getting New Japan Pro Wrestling signees coming over to WWE as well. I mean, Triple A, they got Dragon Lee now. Somebody else from New Japan just signed too. Jay White contract is over with. Yeah, Jay White contract is over with. I mean, like if this is the case, then I can almost say Sasha Banks isn't done with WWE.
Well, we talked about this up until Vince showed up and kind of caused all chaos of Hunter was just going through and all right, I can't directly affect you, Tony, so I will affect everyone around you. I'll work more with Impact. I'll work, a deal out with New Japan, with CMLL and AAA. That's how we got Dragon Lee, of stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, but if we're too, I know that Triple H is, the chief content officer, but I mean, do you guys really think that, I guess that, Vince McMahon has control over hiring people now, like for the creative side, I guess
he could if he wanted. That's the thing,
right? But I'm saying right now, his current position has been executive chairman,
right?
So who can hire people? Is that Triple H's job, or is that
that would be part of
Hunter or Nick Khan?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, I mean, with that being said, I don't think that none of these deals will be messed up. As long as if there's a promising agreement that we can see that Vince says, for anything, I'm not going to be going back down to creative. I think that we're good with the structure we have. He can do what he's doing upstairs, as long as Triple H can continue to do what he's doing downstairs. And with William Regal being, at his side at each and every show now, the shows are going to just get better and better overall.
But can Vince not meddle?
I think right now,
meddle for however months since he got sent home and everything. Can he not meddle?
Yeah, I think that will be a question of duration for me. Is the fact of right now, if his sole purpose is to sell the company and he's entrenched in that, fine, right? That's the purpose. If sometime in 2023 WWE is going to be sold, it's if, say, you sell the company and this current group is still in charge of the company, still running it. Vince is still the chair. Triple H, William, everybody's still in the same position. That's where it gets interesting, because now Vince McMahon just sold the company. Now what do I do? Well, now I'm going to go fuck with creative, because I don't like Johnny Gargano and I don't like so-and-so, and Karrion Kross is getting a leather mask back, and who's the blonde with him? She's not here. That's where I get concerned. In the short term, I think status quo, we're good.
Right.
I think.
You hope.
Hope is a good word.
Wait, Damien said there's a rumor that that wants to buy WWE. What? All right. This is where you guys should go to send your super chat. Yeah, I know Tony Khan and his father are definitely in the news now, because Fightful just reported that, and Wall Street Journal said the same exact thing. So I guess it's official, but I think that from far as we can go, we know that it's just a tease.
It's a meme, and like we talked about earlier, at the end of the day, especially we've talked about how much voting control he has, how this whole deal is going on because of Vince. He'd have to sign off on the deal. It's not like they can the board can out from underneath them sell to Shad Khan.
No.
So that would be that would be probably the blackest or weirdest day, or darkest day, or weirdest day in WWE history. It would be it would be the reverse of WWE buying WCW if AEW buys WWE.
I'm sorry, I'm just looking at WWE news. They're hiring so many people for this sale. It's crazy. We got 2 banks that's been hired. We got 2 outside.
We're going out of business sale. Everything must go. Everything half off.
This is why
I just don't understand. Why are we fucking selling the company? Like, what the fuck is going on?
Vince wants a payout.
Yeah.
The motherfucker's already rich.
I know.
That's right. You know what's better to a rich asshole than being rich? Being more rich.
He's about to fucking die though. Like, fuck off.
Marry me with all of my money.
Like, marry every penny.
Like, bro,
nobody's in the will.
Like, my boy, you were born this, and this is what pisses me off, bro. Vince has been a fucking announcer, a commentator, in a wrestler, and he has yet to fucking retire from either 3 of them duties. Like, this
he's gonna show up at the Rumble.
I mean, well, fuck. I hope they beat the shit out of him.
Number 30. You got no chance.
Oh my god!
All of you get out of my ring. I just sold the company. This match is over.
Right? Fuck that, bro. Imagine this: Vince comes out number 30. He wins the fucking Rumble, and he faces Roman at the fucking main event, and he wins.
Vince goes out as champion, the last champion in if anybody would do it. Liz, sounds like bullshit.
The Saudi, the greatest Royal Rumble, the Strowman title,
the green belt
over his head as he gets carried out by the locker room.
We did it, bitch ass. That's what he's probably saying to us. Fuck
the money.
Here we go. Money talks. That is crazy, yo. Yeah. This is crazy.
It's amazing what happens when you have a delusional fucking nutwing in charge of your fucking company.
That's what I think we were talking about. Like, I think even with your theory, Nick, I think you're dealing with kind of that rational mindset of, yeah, we should gauge how this feels and we should see how the public will react. But when you're dealing with Vince, it's a different animal. Like, it's just, I don't care. I'm going to do what I want to do.
Right.
And that's the X factor in all this is his ego is completely insane.
Bro, Vince McMahon is worth $2.4 billion and he makes $5.6 million every year. Like,
Yes.
what the hell? Like, you can't even spend $1 billion. You can't even spend a $0.4 billion, bro. Like, why? What the fudge?
I would like to try.
I'm confused.
Right. I'll try.
I'd like to try.
What are you gonna? Bro, anybody? Can you please tell me name one billionaire that can literally go out here and spend a fucking $1 billion, bro, in a damn day?
I don't know, but
buy
I'll
a wrestling
try.
If you buy a
bro, you're 77. You're fucking 77 years old. Oh my god!
Right.
I think that this is what's going to happen. He's going to sell the fucking company. He's going to become richer than fucking Tony Khan and his father. He's going to buy AEW. Turn that shit to
do it the
WCW.
other way around. Here we go. Here we go. I like it.
That we get the replay of Shane showing up. We get that. Just we run it back.
Look. So Saudi buys WWE. Vince McMahon buys AEW. Then Vince sells AEW to Saudi, and now Vince is a creative director over there, and he's going to bury every fucking body for AEW.
Well, we've already seen how those angles go, and the WWE is not going under at all. So
Vince having a second chance to just say Double J is Double G, Double O, Double
right.
The Double Goonie.
Double loaded, boy. There'll be no more ass boys, no more Max Caster. Oh, Max Caster, you want to?
I'm gonna scissor the Acclaimed out of here.
No, but I think it's funny.
Vince eliminated one person and won the Rumble. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
98. Yes, that was
90. What? Damn.
Was it not?
Yeah.
Shit,
I agree with
that's
JV.
where he eliminated. Yeah, that's when it was him and Austin.
Alpha Entertainment. What the hell is that?
See, I'm with Polo, just like CJ said.
Yeah.
No, bro, like no. What I'm saying is, fuck yeah, I can gratefully take a shot at $1 billion, but I'm saying you finna sell the company for $10 billion. What payout are you getting this for? An extra $1 billion, dumbass? Like, I just don't understand it. Like, none of this shit makes sense to me.
And that's actually a valid point when we
You're
talk about like
77.
Why would you try and like why would you go the Saudi Arabia route when you know the public opinion on that? And then it turns into literally just for a little more money. Like, and you're like crazy because you're dealing with just astronomical amounts of money that makes like, who gives a fuck? And like you said, it's 77. The difference between 8 billion and 9 billion or 9.25. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Right. But they're insane and everything. Like we've already talked about. They're in a different realm of reality, I guess. Shout out Scott with Microsoft is trying by activation activation for 6.8 or 68.4 billion.
Pardon me.
I thought that the deal was done with them because they're already pissing Sony off. So I thought it was done. Damn, but that's a lot of fucking money.
It really is.
8.4 billion. But look, let me go ahead and look at the company valuation.
Here we go. Here we go.
Then that makes WWE with 10 billion seem like a drop in the bucket.
Absolutely. And to Smile Mark's point, it's not an easy sale, which I mean, I think we all get that. Imagine all those contracts, individual brands connected to Raw, SmackDown. Oh, yeah. I mean, you're dealing with tons of shit. Sponsorship agreements, what can carry through, what like certain contracts get null and void in this type of situation. Other contracts have the ability to carry through. I mean, if you think of selling to like Disney or Comcast and
easy sell. If you sell to Disney and Comcast and NBC, easy sell. The only thing that I say, if you sell to Saudi, you have a lot of fucking issues now, but it would be a win. It's a win-win situation for Saudi no matter what. Buying WWE gets you into all type of media deals, other sponsorship deals. It gets you into everything. But
yeah.
I hope it don't go that way because I'm afraid for a lot of other things.
So should we'll go around and who do we want to buy WWE?
These nuts. Look, who are the potential buyers? I shall ask.
There's a list, dude. I mean,
You have Comcast / NBC Universal, Fox, Disney. Well, I guess Con Enterprises, I guess is the best way to call that. What?
Which Con?
Honestly, Warner Brothers Discovery, Netflix, Amazon, Endeavor Group Holdings, and Liberty Media.
Yes.
Okay, I thought you were about to say Liberty fucking Mutual, bro.
Liberty Mutual.
Liberty.
But this man's talking about something to a damn insurance company.
# not sponsored.
Right.
Then nobody could take a bump if the insurance company bought it.
First time wrestlers have had insurance.
If Warner Bros. Facts. If Warner Bros. Buys WWE, what you have to ask? I'll just say you have to ask what's next for AEW. Because I can almost see Warner Bros. Technically, like, truly buying AEW in the future.
You think so?
I can see it happen. I mean, they got a lot of damn money, more connections.
True.
And they said Warner Bros. Missed out WWE's last negotiations in 2018.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Could it be a case of, you know what? You know, they make a purchase of WWE and say, thank you, Tony. It's been fun, but we no longer need your services over here.
Yeah.
Well, and we've even got, you know, fans letting us know of other people that have now since thrown their name into the hat. I guess, you know, we might be throwing our name into the hats there if, you know, hit that super chat, hit those super stickers and everything like that, you know, help support the channel. And we'll buy WWE and we'll take it out of the Saudis' hands. But Apple's involved. Now this is interesting because we saw The Rock buy the XFL.
Yeah.
So what if we get The Rock and Viacom if they purchase WWE?
Didn't CJ ask or I think, did you ask who we think? Yeah, it was you. That, you know, who do we want? I kind of think The Rock would be a fun option as the owner of the WWE. Kevin Hart doing guest spots every week.
If you smell what the boss is cooking.
Yo, the whole intro is just him.
I'm sorry, brother. If The Rock buys WWE,
Roman is champ till the end of time.
That right. That is crazy. It's crazy for The Rock. Like, this is gonna go into a whole nother topic now. Just seeing The Rock go from a small wrestler to a major wrestler to now a fucking big ass actor, the best actor apparently in Hollywood,
into now being most grossing.
Who the hell is? Most grossing. You're right.
Yeah, not bad.
Thank you for crossing. I said thank you for crossing me. What the fuck did I just say? Wow. Thank you for correcting me. But yeah, you know, seeing him become like I guess I'm gonna say the richest man in fucking Hollywood at this point now.
Mm-hmm.
To now being the owner of XFL, to now being a potential ghost buyer of WWE. He did all this shit and he's only 50 years old. Yeah. That shit is crazy just to even have him in the talks of even trying to assume that he wants to buy WWE. And it's so crazy. He probably go on Instagram the next day. Motherfucker, I never said I was buying that company. Like, wait, what? But I mean, it's crazy. But I mean, honestly, out of that whole entire list, I would pick 3 people. And that would be The Rock, Disney, or either Fox.
Okay.
I want Fox because it's sports.
I think Fox would be interesting. Might, you know, spruce up Monday night if we take it away from USA.
Well, see, I remember saying a while ago before we were talking about selling the company versus more of just moving the media rights to one network, since it was split across 2 of Fox would not be a bad shout if it had met Raw and SmackDown like it already does, is because then it could use it to promote it against Monday Night Football, and it has that more, you know, sportsy, authentic feel versus it's just another TV show. I'm still holding out for NBC Universal. Honestly.
Yeah, why does that got a tickle in your belly?
Because it's already got it set up with Peacock's. It's already got the network on there.
Fair enough.
It's already got Raw on USA. It's been the longest running partner with WWE, as far as media rights go, I believe. And like I said, I've seen reports that to me is the best option to keep Hunter securely in the company and not just saying, well, my wife has already left. Well, you're just going to run this to the ground, Vince, so fuck off. That's really, to me, I think the safest landing spot.
I like that point about keeping keeping the structure of the company intact.
Right. That's to me where you get Hunter could slide into that Dana White spot, like when the UFC sold.
Yeah.
To where he still moved from just being president with Zuffa and the Fertitta brothers to now he's just president within the UFC.
Yeah. Now, a lot of people have suspected that that's what Vince is trying to do.
Well, we're talking about how the 77-year-old man's concerned about, an extra billion or two. So wouldn't that make more sense to try and come back and make sure you can secure yourself into I'm gonna just run this fucker until I go, pal.
Yeah, really. I really
don't even
think
know where to go from that.
Yeah, I really think that we've only begun to talk. I mean, here's a funny one for you. A lot of people have talked about our buddy who was on AEW last night. Go figure. Freddie Prinze Jr. was trying to get a group of people together to start his own wrestling company.
What?
What if he got gonna listen, investors? We might need a few more dollars than I planned, but can we as a collective come up with enough that I get to run this thing?
Right, Raggy.
Right?
Me too.
So do you guys really think that Vince wants to be back in creative, or do you think that he just wants to sell it and say fuck off with it?
That's all fan speculation. That's all IWC speculation. It's fair, but it's speculation.
I don't think anyone can predict what goes on in Vince McMahon's mind, honestly. That's to be fair of it could literally be both, or it could be literally depending on the way the wind blows of how Vince feels. Because sorry, go ahead.
No, finish.
No, I was finishing. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like with Vince, to your point, Nick, we could wake up tomorrow morning and it could be an announcement of like WWE has bought Impact and bought MLW and they're going to 4 nights a week. Completely the opposite direction. Like that's just the way Vince is. But I really think that 2022, like he said, I was given bad advice and I was pushed out.
But with that being said, could we see another accusation pop up like we had the first time he tried to come back?
That's why Stephanie
see that pop up as well.
That's why Stephanie stepped off the porch. She has to go home and dig up more dirt.
You ain't shit. Now, I want to bring this comment up real quick by Small Mark because I actually 100% disagree with this one. He said Fox has already handicapped SmackDown with ratings and sponsorships. If Fox took full control, you'd never get a PG-13 era again. And Fox is owned by Disney. So what? So you want WWE to be Disney? So I will disagree with that. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because when Fox actually signed the initial agreement with them, they told WWE to cut out all the gimmick shit. Like there was not supposed to be a lot of gimmicks on the show. There was supposed to be a lot of more action. And that's why I can always say that SmackDown is truly the best show. That's why you see Roman Reigns is actually on SmackDown because he's not doing gimmicks. Like, exactly. They wanted more sports plays on there. I mean, now limiting sponsorships, that I mean, why do you need sponsorship? I'm gonna pay you $1 billion anyway, so fuck the sponsorships. And the reason why they're probably saying fuck that is because we want more action, we want more fighting on my show because that's what we promote. We're promoting sports. You're gonna promote NFL and other stuff that we have on Fox. You don't need those sponsorships. Like screw the sponsorships because here go $1 billion. I just want sports. Cut the gimmicks out.
Well, 24/7. It does also at times even have.
I can't even
more
get
of that edge that makes sense because Fox is still the same company that airs. So I missed everything you just said, but that'd be giggling. But it has The Simpsons, it has Family Guy, it had American Dad, so it does still.
Yeah,
very much more. It treats it as an adult show, as this is going to be more serious content. It's more, than just we can just have the same bullshit, or we're just gonna have the Pizza Hut Battle Royal happen right now because we've got to get advertising onto the show.
That might be another a benefit of a company that has more money in the bank that isn't really trying to drive every penny out of the business. Might not need as many commercials now and many more.
Hold the fuck up. What you mean Will Smith isn't an actor? Wait, what the fuck is he then? A cosplayer?
I don't know what the comparison.
So basically, somebody in the comment section said that Disney could just make WWE superstars actors, which technically they already are actors. you know, they play their gimmicks. So I guess you technically you're acting as you're somebody
Yeah.
else.
You're making a whole bunch of people cringe right now, but you're right.
I know, right? I just made myself cringe. Like, I don't like that word, but I mean, in some sense, it's true. I mean, they acknowledge it them damn self, so fuck off.
Right.
But no, like for real. But yeah, I disagree with that Mark on all of that. You know, with the Fox situation. I think that we would be able to get a PG-13 era, but probably, you know, I guess TV-14 instead. I don't know. What is AEW TV-14, right?
I don't know. Depends what night you show up. Moxley have the mic?
Yeah, it depends on how quick they are on the bleep button.
Yeah. Does Moxley have the mic? Because that might not be
right.
14
plus. Who has the mic? Rick Ross?
Accusations.
Jordan says, "Hey, do you feel like Triple H is going to leave too since Vince is back?" I'm gonna say no, and the reason why I'm gonna say no about that is because WWE has already been warned, you know, to not let Triple H leave, because I mean the ratings have went up. I mean, we see the numbers. If you put Vince back on board with the creative and he start firing people again, the ratings are gonna go from here to down. I mean, we're gonna see that. So I mean, that would be a bad business move. I think that Vince knows it himself as well. Vince is gonna let Triple H do what he wants to do temporarily. Once the company sells, Triple H is gone and Vince is now back in charge. Why? Because they're probably gonna go fucking private. If that's what they really want to do is go private, if they do still sell to the Saudis or some shit, that's what's going to happen, no doubt.
I still think that's a big proponent of this. Is Vince is like, I'll get my company back. I'm going to go private. Fuck them all. I think that was a big motivational driver for Vince.
Yeah, it has to be. I mean, I don't know.
I'm still holding out the hope that Vince just gets his little payout and pisses off to fucking retirement and goes hangs out on a beach somewhere, and just lets Hunter run it. Even if Steph just decides, well, I'll just sit at home, whatever. That's a whole other, like we've talked about. This fucking story has so many goddamn layers to it. Of you can still just blow past Steph stepping down,
right?
Just because we're already going into, well, they mentioned the Saudis and just Vince is insane and all of this stuff. I'm waiting for the day in 10 years, 15 years, the book comes out of, or the story gets leaked somehow about everything that happened.
Yeah. You know what? So, Stephanie McMahon might end up with one of the most interesting, you know, stories
Steph,
of all.
Get writing.
The memoirs of Stephanie. Right?
Right. Now, look, me and Small Mark, you might have to make a special appearance on the Rumble one day so we can really go through all this. Now, he said, see, I do like the fact that I'm assuming he said he does like the sports of wrestling. It's understandable. Now, I probably shouldn't have said the gimmicks and shit like that. What I truly should have said was the goofy situation, like the 24/7-11 title. That shit, that's what Fox didn't want. Stuff like that on the show. Random marriages and shit, like stuff like that. That's what they were saying. They didn't want that on their shows. Like, hell yeah, everybody loved the gimmicks and everybody loved the kayfabe stories. I mean, that's what makes WWE entertainment. That's common sense right there. But what I'm saying is they were saying like they don't want a lot of those
kiddie things,
goofy moments, right? The kiddie stuff, because we have NFL on our platform. So why the hell would we put the NFL in a reject ass wrestling show on our on our platform? But that's what I'm getting at. Not saying the kayfabe and the gimmicks got to go, but stuff like the 24/7 title, the fucking marriages, the shit spots on there, like stuff like that. That's all.
Purple blood, you know, that
purple tits.
Peck.
Oh, Pecs. It's Pecs now. Yes, I'm here for the puppies. What puppies?
The purple puppies, I guess, is what we're talking about.
Now, what happens if Vince goes private and there is? They're still in charge. So let's say we move forward. They're now private. They can then turn up the volume and go right back to fucking hardcore Attitude Era with just TNA and whatever else you want. Not the tag team, folks.
And yeah, I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Going private is not a bad thing, because what other company is private? AEW. That's why we get to see them doing the piece of cut stuff and all the cussing and stuff like that. We get to see them doing all that because they're not limited as much as WWE. But
also, one company's up for auction and the other one's being rumored about potentially buying the one that's up for auction.
Yeah,
but not to say
auction. I feel right, but I'm saying as far as when it comes to taking in revenue, when you're a publicly shared company versus your privately shared company, it might not be a bad show.
Yeah, but I mean, if AEW were to buy WWE, I'm pretty sure they would take the same route.
Right. No, I wasn't saying about that. I don't actually think that AEW could buy it. I'm more of just saying, well, you're talking about one company that with the Khan family that has more money than they know what to do with. That's why Tony's allowed to just burn it versus WWE's trying to get the biggest payout. So maybe still staying public, you can still kind of get a payout.
I thought Madison Rain got released from her contract because I didn't see her on the main page, but I forgot she's just a coach.
She's a coach.
What that means.
A lot.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, what else? I feel like we've been just up and down the Vince road, but I mean, it's crazy because it's.
I don't want to be up and down that road.
A lot of people.
I mean, I might get a decent payout.
You might cash out. You might cash out.
I'm hollering, but I'm gonna leave you guys on this last note. Well, not even the last note for me personally, and that's if Bray Wyatt is putting you guys to sleep. That's the real question. Are you guys sleepy? Oh, goddamn,
dude, hit it. I didn't know you were gonna say that.
Oh yeah. So yeah, I mean, is Bray Wyatt putting you out to sleep? Because I mean, I'm pretty much confused with the whole Uncle Howdy situation right now. I don't know what's going on with it. I would love to see if there was some more funny stuff going on, but I don't know. Uncle Howdy is dead. Bray Wyatt is dead.
Stream a movie and it glitches every fucking 3 minutes. It just pauses on a fucking spot, and it's just like, okay, well, we'll just wait it out and it will buffer and we'll be okay. That's what I feel like the Bray Wyatt storyline is becoming. It's just a buffering movie of like, you get 2 minutes of something and then we need more. We need more. It just get there. Fucking get there.
I would have loved if they would have went back with the QR code situation for Uncle Howdy.
Yeah.
Like if they would have, they could start bringing him out, but every time he comes out, give me a QR code, give me another hint, and then at the last second, show us his identity. You know how they did with Bray. They cut the lights and shit like that happen. Do it like that.
Yeah,
but for real, I don't think that Howdy is ever going to take off his mask, though. He can't.
No, he is. He can't stay. Then Nick's right, and then I got to eat shit.
If he stays sitting here, let you two have it. You can have that. That ain't even what I'm at.
They're gonna reveal the Bo Wyatt 6.
The Bo Wyatt 6. Goddamn. Yeah.
I'm so trying
to more over this situation than Bray has.
He has, to an extent. Yeah, absolutely. He's got the best lines. He's the most entertaining part of it.
But he shouldn't. It's supposed to be a Bray story.
Yeah, it's not a Bray story.
How you find out the side character in your fucking story?
That's like fucking Batman being a second in command of Robin.
Right.
But I ain't gonna lie, I do like the Uncle Howdy glitch moments. When he be talking and his voice are glitching. I love that shit. It's kind of weird, but
you feel in charge? He just quoted fucking Bane. That's all he did. He just quoted
Rebel. Right. I'm like,
you feel in charge? Like that's what he said. He just let me watch the fucking Dark Knight of Vince finally fucking pop that in on the DVD player. Just like, use this, pal.
Oh, right. Fucking that's crazy as hell.
No, man, I think the fact that I love what they're doing. Like you said, I like the glitches. I wish they would have carried the QR codes ahead. Let's say there is, a Bo involved or a Dutch involved or a Vincent involved. It would have been cool to get clues about random shit and have the IWC fucking chase their tails around like the White Rabbit did. That would have been cool.
If they bring out Mark just brought the Pitch Black match, if they bring out 3 different Uncle Howdys, would you be willing to say that's Vince, Dutch, and Bo Dallas?
Yes, that's my hope.
I'm saying Boo Earns is what I'm saying.
Because if it's Bray, and Bray, it's Boo fucking Earns for sure.
Yeah. If you need to do the whole 3 thing, like, I'm sorry, but it's even like when people were thinking of when at Extreme Rules, when we had the Firefly Funhouse puppets come to life, and we just thought it was all going to be actual wrestlers standing there in the crowd in that whole fucking costume. It just feels like fucking Five Nights at Freddy's, some Universal, some Disney bullshit.
Disney bullshit.
Right. We'll take off all the prosthetics. Like, Boo Earns.
But wait, I'm so confused why you're so hung up on the prosthetic. I don't get it. Like, So they want to keep the identity of the wrestler a
Because I
secret.
want it to actually be halfway taken fucking seriously. You can't do spooky gimmicks and do it completely like, oh, we're just watching a daytime, soap opera or some shit. Like it's still this is happening live, so we're just
that's why I want the Wyatt 6. Well played. But that's where I think the Wyatt 6 helps that, because it's more realistic that it's somebody, fucking with Bray. If it becomes a manifestation of Bray's schizophrenic mind, then to me it gets very soap opera-ish.
Well, I get that. I'm just more of, if you could have done it to where even the whole Uncle Howdy name, I guess, is halfway what I get hung up on too. Of even then, if you could have just had it be like this split, like alternate version of a Wyatt family type thing of it's Bo and Vincent and Dutch, and have that attacks Bray versus it's basically the same mask we saw Bray show up at Extreme Rules now, just haunting him back. It's just gotten all very weird and convoluted.
Now, so there's some that have dedicated their entire channel to Bray Wyatt at this point. And I've watched some of them. There's a couple good, really good ones out there. And they're breaking down the fact that, the masks have come in different, purposely different shapes and sizes and eye colors. So, we got a green-eyed one, red-eyed one, blue-eyed one. So almost, having LA Knight take the time to talk about, I was jumped by 3 different masks. Like, he pointed it out. So I feel like we're going to have a pitch black match, whatever the fuck that means. But at some point, either the lights come on or the lights come on enough, and Bray's not standing alone anymore. But Howdy's mad at Bray, so maybe LA Knight actually beats Bray at Rumble.
Yeah, you fucking ninjutsu how to get LA Knight winning there, because I was completely sold of like, wait, no, that actually they would pop like a son of a bitch if all of a sudden Bray's just there and he's surrounded by a bunch of people in Uncle Howdy type mask and everything, and then he just even does the "we're here," blows out the fucking lantern, do some shit like that. Fine, fuck it. But to get into LA Knight wins, I'm like, how did we get here? Because I feel like Bray's got every advantage in this, because I think the only person who knows what a pitch black match is the people, the fine folks at Mountain Dew and Bray Wyatt.
Maybe it's like the orange juice match, right? Like,
you gotta dump them into a pit of fucking pitch black Mountain Dew.
First one that goes in the fucking pitch black pool loses, bitches. Let's go.
It's a race to chug a 2-liter of pitch black Mountain Dew.
No, it's the first person to pass out after you drink the 2-liter.
Nah, you just run around until the sugar rush wears off.
The first one that fucking falls into a coma, the other guy. Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what this pitch black match means. I don't want all Bray's matches to be theatrical. Like you said, I want this to tie into wrestling. So yes, if this guy continues to come out as Howdy or multiple Howdies, and they never come out to be a wrestler behind the mask, I'm going to be really just not fucking intrigued by it at all. Like, to me, that's so campy. And if this guy's going to continue just to float around in this rubber prosthetic, it's stupid to me. I think if they unveil, kind of like Bray took the mask off, that there's somebody behind the mask. And by my math, I mean Dutch, Vincent, Bo, Alexa, Bray, and then the Fiend is the wild card.
Well, so then who's the Fiend? Just Bray?
And that is, I think the Fiend is still a byproduct of Bray. That's the real Bray.
I'm still holding out that I feel best Bray Wyatt, best return we could have potentially gotten. I feel with this whole Bray Wyatt situation is still, we're really glad that you're our friend.
Still,
going back to the Firefly of that was, tell me that's not the best. I think Bray's kind of been in a situation when it comes to WWE.
Listen, a lot of people shit on it, but I thought it was really entertaining. I thought it was good stuff. I think people looked forward to it. It was different. It was
fantastic up until Alexa.
Right, yeah. Then the Alexa shit went a little too far. I didn't much care for the playground or Lily or a winking doll. And then you lose me. And like we said, when you venture, like we always say, you know, when say, well, how do you watch wrestling? I'm like, dude, how do you watch Days of Our Lives or, you know, Young and the Restless or
Suspension
whatever?
of
How do you watch
disbelief.
any
I'll
of that shit?
suspend it for a little bit, but until you get me way out to fucking
Mhm.
pasture is when I'm like, all right, I've had enough
Yeah,
here.
but there's a
I'll
limit.
go
Yeah.
with you on the journey, but
Yeah, no, I'll extend my belief. I will go in and like, this guy's crazy and he's being tormented and that's his little brother fucking with him. And I'm all for it. But when it's like, that's his consciousness come to life in a rubber mask, fuck you. I draw a
it's a
line.
Muppet. Kermit the
Yeah,
Frog just said, fuck you, Bray.
right? I'm a wizard. Fuck you. You're
I'm a
not.
wizard, Larry.
Yeah. Put the fucking, yeah, I'm glad you figured out how to use the paper. It's really cute.
Right. Teach Hogan. Teach Hogan. Shout out
Yeah.
Hogan Warrior Halloween Havoc 98 for those who don't know.
Right. So, but man, I mean, I I like what they're doing. I like the moments when the lights go out and things are flickering and like, oh, but it's been one like it's just literally been blue balls and more blue balls and more blue balls. And that's what it feels like every fucking time. Oh my god, Alexa's on the table. Here we go. Blue balls. Fuck.
Well,
Nothing.
I feel like and it's so weird. And I guess to make a 90s Simpsons reference and everything, if you remember the little bit that goes around to where Marge is dragging Homer back in, but Marge, that guy hasn't done anything yet. And I know once I look away, he's going to do something cool. And then the door shuts. And
Oh.
that's Bray of the second the fucking lights go out that's when I guess the cool shit happens that no one else can see. The stuff that happens during the commercial breaks, the stuff that happens in I guess now pitch black matches
Mhm,
when LA Knight's walking backwards through an unlit parking lot.
mhm,
Um, that's when I guess all the cool
mhm.
shit happens. But no, I need to start having some of these threads pulled together.
Yeah, just give us a little bit of a reason to jump, right? Like, and when it's just like, okay, Howdy comes out, laughs at Bray. Then a couple weeks later, he comes out again. Now we get a Sister Abigail. So to me, we hit a Sister Abigail. That's progression. Howdy doesn't like Bray. They're not working together. There's an issue. Great. We move the needle. All right. Alexa's freaking out. Here's Howdy. Oh, they're just giggling again. Fuck. All right. That's not moving the needle. Like for me, the Alexa is such a side note to what's happening. There should have been a bigger piece of the puzzle given to us in that moment. Like she should have went down and hugged him or stood beside him, gave us something, right?
They
And that to
almost
me is the blue balls effect, where you're not getting that. Oof.
it's one of those of they almost anticipate we all jump because we know it's a Bray thing. It might do something cool. It just never does something fucking cool.
Yeah, and that's what
That's
I
what
think
it
the
really
issue
seems to
is,
be.
right? It's that like the boy who cried wolf, right?
Right.
And it,
You run out of that and you've ran out of it already with you ran out of it with Cult Leader Bray. You ran out of even when it was Deleter of Worlds and all of that with him and Matt Hardy.
that shit was
Um,
so underused, man.
you ran out of it or you used it up too fast with the Fiend of you kind of need to be delicate here.
Right? You do, because you run that line of where people like we saw it, and I mean you see it when we work these channels, right? Like such
Right.
and such is going to happen. We saw it with AEW. There's a perfect example. And not picking on Tony, but we did see it with our channel where, you know, Tony would come out and say, "Don't miss Dynamite tonight, big news." And then we'd see the upticks on our channel. We'd get more viewers because more people were invested and interested in what the announcement was going to be. But then when Tony hotshot it for like 9 weeks in a row, and some of the big newses were Christian Cage, then people stop getting tipped off by that. They wait to hear, oh shit, did it happen? Okay, now I'll tune in. And that's what I think you run into with the Bray stuff of when he first came back, spiked the ratings. People want to know. But now they're like, Howdy's going to be here on Monday. Let me know when he does something.
Yeah, they've gone all the way from you would watch the show literally just for that 10 seconds that they throw a QR code, a flicker, or
Yeah.
anything like that on
Mm-hmm.
screen, or you start to hear the Twitter people on Twitter who were there in attendance that got White Rabbit playing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now it's moved all the way to, oh well, I'll check up on it tomorrow. I'm sure if something big happens, I'll hear about it.
Yeah.
You're not anticipating, you're not excited for it anymore.
No, and like you said, I mean, and the White Rabbit shit would shut down streams here. We'd be live, and our entire chat, including us, would be completely swept up in did you find the code? What did it say? What does this clue mean? Hey, I just googled this. Like it would derail coverage because everybody was so into it. It was one of the biggest stories of 2022, and here we are. And I just want a little bit more. Like, and people are, oh, you guys don't appreciate long term storytelling. The trickiest part about long term storytelling is being compelling enough that it survives enough to be a long term story.
Yeah, it's keeping that hook in long enough to get through it. It's you sunk it in there. Now, how do you keep it going?
Yeah. And I mean, again, you don't have to tell us the whole story yet. But like I said, when you have that, it was kind of like when Julia Hart was joining the House of Black. Like it wasn't such an epic deal that we needed to do it for 5 weeks. Just do it now. And that's what I kind of felt like the Alexa thing has been was like, all right, we've dragged this out for 5, 6, 7 weeks. It's not the centerpiece of the story. So get to the fucking point. Right? Make it happen and get back to the plot.
Absolutely.
I saw this coming. This is a novel. There you go. By our standards.
Oh.
WWE sure knew how to overhype things, and nothing that WWE gave out, from the White Rabbit to the symbolism, nothing connects to Wyatt. It was just a marketing gimmick. Hey, part of it did connect to Wyatt. So I wouldn't say it was just a complete marketing gimmick, but it was an outstanding fucking marketing gimmick. We were live, like people phoning random phone numbers, and it could have been anything.
We were live, and I sat there and called the number that they pulled up and everything.
People fucking
it was good. I still keep going to Blades of Glory. Nobody knows what it means, but it's provocative and it gets the people going.
Right? That's it. So yes, it was a marketing ploy, but it did tie back into Bray Wyatt. They did have little hints that tied back into, geographical things, and a big giant pink rabbit. Look, JV knows. Right?
Right. Now, pink rabbit.
How do you feel about this comment that he sold out?
To who?
I guess because he came back and did this.
What?
Well, I'm just meaning in the sense of like, well, he sold out because he was out of he could have went somewhere else and did something else, but he took the money so he could come back and do the same shit.
Or he just knew that we've talked about it on stream before. There was no wrestling company out there outside of he's going to do some probably B horror movie that's going to give him the production value for what he wants to do when it comes to storytelling. So WWE's your best bet. And who already has the Wyatt lore than WWE? So it's the perfect scenario for it.
Yeah.
There was no one else that he could have done anything attached to Bray Wyatt.
Right.
Christ, Wyndham Rotunda, outside of you're just going to do something entirely fucking different.
Than
to do it in WWE.
Well, could you imagine AEW having the Bray Wyatt storyline from a production standpoint, just from a production standpoint of like, even Bray Wyatt's return in these White Rabbit, like, I don't know if it goes the exact same way. And again, we know that, AEW's production, like they would have had the fucking rabbits and the things beating up each other in the back.
They would have had the bunny like from Adam Rose just hopping out of that's the White Rabbit. And then Chris Jericho would have put it in a lion tamer, aka a Boston Crab at this point.
Yeah. And then that would have been the big caveat to it all is Bray Wyatt makes his big return, comes out with the lantern. Everyone's like, oh my God, Bray's back, and Judas hits. You're like, fuck.
Judas in my mind.
The heat stealer himself.
Right.
By the way, no, never mind. Okay. You think WWE stopped signing wrestlers to long term, or they still going to because of them selling? Listen, that's a very valid question, and I'm really curious. Because we even talked about, like, we were talking about FTR might come and be a part of WrestleMania, and what if CM Punk was available? Would they consider it? And what about signing this guy and Jay White and that guy? And oh shit, does this change that game? Does that change this rhetoric of, the boss internally? They could have a meeting and say, we're going to freeze all the purchasing right now. We're going to minimize spend because we're trying to sell. And
does it could that change? Yeah, Nick
Yeah.
Aldis showing up. There's that change. Jay White showing up. Which, by the way, did you
Does
hear
it change The Rock showing up?
Fair, valid point. But did you hear the news about with FTR as well?
About wherever they go next is where they're
They've
done.
also though been granted
Yes,
months
a
off
leave.
from TV to kind of evaluate where they're going to go next with their career, let themselves heal up and everything. So don't be tuning in to AEW expecting any FTR anytime soon.
It's sad. And I mean, PWI gave them, I believe, the fan vote gave them Tag Team of the Year, which was excellent. We're big fans. But legitimately,
literally, if Tony would have booked them better, they would have won it with us instead of
a lot of places. Yeah, I think a lot of places would have felt that way, and it was just. I think when you ask the fans vote with their heart, and then if we had a pick, Nick, who's your favorite tag team this year? Well, it's FTR. However, they weren't highlighted enough, so therefore here we are. But I do think that part of me felt when I read the article or the story about FTR, taking a leave, was almost, it felt like, can we just be friends? That's what it felt like to me.
We're gonna split amicably,
right? Can we just? I need some space.
It's not you.
Time to think.
It's me.
It's not you. It's me. Was my first thought, homie. That is exactly what I was thinking. So yeah, it makes me laugh. But I think that we've seen how they were booked. And I mean, it almost protects their value of, instead of going back to TV and losing to teams like the Ass Boys, we're just going to take a breather. We're going to heal up. We're going to think about it. And again, that doesn't mean his phone doesn't ring and it's Hunter, and Hunter explains what the business plan is and what the business model is. And he says, come be the tag team main event of WrestleMania. Let's do this.
Listen, I'm letting this old man run himself into the fucking ground and just make a mockery of himself.
Right.
Just
I need the old
back in. I'll sign you under. I'll sweep you in under the rug and give me a couple months, and this fucker will be gone, and you'll be main event in Mania.
Right. The old man just wants to sell and go home. So don't worry. Wyatt sold out because he wasn't happy with bringing in Alexa, the red lights, and now we're doing it again. Is it the case of bringing in Alexa? Is it a case of not liking how they brought in Alexa and how they utilized Alexa? That, to me, is two different questions. The red light stuff isn't quite happening, though we did see some of it. Again, I think
it's a red light,
but no, I mean, just during the White Rabbit stuff, there was multicolored lights at some points that people read into, I being one of them. But overall, dude, I don't know. I think if Bray isn't working right now, where he's in a position where he's kind of, steering the ship, maybe he didn't sell out. Maybe he's telling his story and trying to tell it better.
Maybe he's just weaving it into the lore that already exists.
That's also what he's done. He's worked it right through the past. We saw the Firefly Funhouse. We saw the hints to the puppets and where Bray's come from, and the burning chair and Randy Orton setting shit on fire, and
even the Firefly Funhouse paid homage to Husky Harris and everything. So
true story.
This man's, if there is a character that in WWE that has lore, that has a mythos behind him, it is Bray Wyatt. 100% of, very much like how what should have been that passing of the torch of him and the Undertaker.
Yes,
they're the two most recent characters I can think of that have a mythos beyond in ring.
Yes, and Bray Wyatt. I mean, that was one of the most impressive things. And I know there's people who are critics of Bray Wyatt, but if you talk about the business of wrestling, the job is to get yourself over. That man was more relevant than active wrestlers participating on nationally broadcasted shows every week. And Bray was stealing headlines from them, sitting in some fucking, cabin somewhere. It's amazing. So you can't take that away from him. You cannot do it.
Oh, absolutely. Well, Christ, the man didn't have to be on TV. All the man had to do was have a glitch in a QR code show up.
Right.
And the wrestling week would shut down.
Mm-hmm. Well, even before that, though, he had put out some poetry or something, and people would just be like, what does it mean? What does it mean? Like, whoa. Dude, guys, I like the poem. It's good. Robert Foster.
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, knick-knack, paddywhack.
What is the best fit for WWE? What is the best fit for WWE to sell? I think you have a strong opinion on this, and I
That's
kind
why
of see where you're
my
going.
whole opinion's NBC Universal. I know you've liked, Terramana Enterprises to purchase WWE.
Not true.
But I think that's maybe almost, I want to say, second, third best option. Like it's a valid argument, but I think as far as to keep status quo, and maybe we can send fucking Schmog McMahon, the old man that needs to just go piss off into the sunset, away, is he goes with something that feels normal, comfortable to him, and he gets a decent payoff and fucks off.
Yeah, and Nick, you know what? I am inclined to agree with you as far as an ease of transition. I also think that option, as well as someone like Fox, is most likely to still want to put on the show in the manner that we get it now. Like
Right.
Fox buys it, they're not going to take SmackDown off Friday nights. You know what I mean? Like you assume their programming is going to be what it was, and I think Fox kind of gets a little bit of an edge for me just because I think Fox, like the SmackDown's been the better show. And maybe somewhere in this transition we lose an hour of Raw in the process. That'd be wonderful.
To
But
me, the only thing with this, sorry, but the only thing with me with Fox is because you're halfway getting into bed with Disney and all of that, because that's the only difference. That's the caveat with me.
I just don't know that. And I mean, we see all the memes and we see the IWC having panic attacks, but I don't think, fucking Disney's gonna invest their money in something and then completely fucking butcher it. Like, I think, you're not gonna show up and see Mickey. You might get some tie-ins. We already get Chucky involved. So yeah, we might, but
NBC Universal.
I don't exactly, right? I don't think we're gonna get an outright like gutting. Like we're not gonna show up to fucking,
it's me, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, like fucking, Peter Pan versus versus fucking Hook in the squad in a lumberjack match, So let's be realistic about it. I know people are freaking out, but yeah, with with the option of, I think if Netflix or Amazon or a lot of these other companies that are in the mix, then we start talking about, are they off TV altogether? Are we only getting our wrestling on a live stream? Is it a weekly show? Do they just fucking power dump 10 episodes every 6 weeks or 6 months like they do with other shows, right? Like here's 6 episodes, we'll be back in a few months. That sucks shit.
We just binge watch for a fucking day of WWE. That'll fuck up our whole schedule.
Yeah, can you imagine we'd be doing fucking like weekend marathons?
All right, so boss, I can't work these days because I need to binge watch wrestling.
So that's what I mean. Like to me, the further out you go as far as taking it away from a network that's already kind of involved with the company, runs that risk of like, really, like I got to go to fucking Amazon to get my wrestling, or I got to go Netflix to get my wrestling. And again, I just don't think at the end of the day, without assistance, somebody like Netflix is really going to be a big contender in this mix unless they'll find the money if they want it, but really it's a big purchase. The Tony Khan thing's complete bullshit. Everybody needs to let that go and forget about it. It's not a fucking thing. Even if they could afford it, and people make me laugh, right? Like, okay, he was out and buys. It's a big animal to just drop $7 billion or $8 billion to keep your kid happy. Like, I don't see it being viable.
Well,
and I don't see, Vince being willing to negotiate with the Khans.
That's the thing, is people do realize sales go both ways, right? Like you just don't say, I'll give you money and that's mine now. Like, no, that's not how this works.
Yeah, it's like fucking, someone calls you fucking for your fucking bike on Marketplace and says, I'm on my way over with 20. You're like, what? Wait.
TK could show up with fucking a bill, a mail, what have you, more than everybody else, and Vince could still just say, no, I don't like you, you're weird, piss off.
Right now, if I was in Tony Khan's shoes and this was a viable thing, and I think a lot of times things are tongue-in-cheek, and the way the media works now in 2023 is it just gets ran right up the flagpole without any content. Yeah, hard. Like they don't even stop and not even a spit.
Not even give me a minute to catch my breath.
But I mean, realistically, the pitch to Vince for me, if I'm Tony or Shad, is, well, we're already running a wrestling company, and he'd be like, "No, you're not." So that's the problem.
It feels so much to me of like when Ted Turner allegedly called Vince and said, "Vince, I'm in the wrestling business."
Yeah.
That's what this feels like.
Now people joke like fucking, get go full circle and have Warner involved in this, but I mean,
But then does AEW just fall by the wayside then?
well, that would be an interesting dynamic of like, you know what, we're going to buy the WWE, but we're going to run WWE Mondays, Fridays. We're going to run, AEW Tuesdays, Thursdays.
Does
Or
Warner just become the wrestling channel of you
yeah,
just tune
fuck
in
it.
every night for wrestling?
Listen, I'd rather tune into Warner
Simplify it.
for the other shit they're fucking putting out there. What else is people tuning into Warner for anytime soon?
NBA.
Well, that doesn't count.
Oh, well, that's the thing is then because of NBA and the playoffs, they're like we saw with AEW of how much this stuff get, moved around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. As people who try and follow this live, fuck you. Next question. How long can they honestly keep milking the bloodline story? It's making me think it needs to be wrapped at WrestleMania. I think that's No. I thought that I think WrestleMania is like the climax of the whole story. And I think shortly after WrestleMania, it all gets dismantled slowly but surely. And it begins at WrestleMania.
Well, that's okay. So that's different than what I initially thought you had said there, because I thought you were saying it culminates there. I'm saying it reaches the peak there, potentially. That's when it truly reaches, we the one. And then it starts to just, you go on that descend on the roller coaster of that's when you get that downturn of maybe we get the bloodline turning on Sammy. Maybe Roman starts to lose a title, both titles, who knows? That's when I think you can get that, slow decline into just chaos.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Sorry, I got a little sidetracked, and I just pulled a goof, and it was gross. That being said, I mean, if The Rock is at WrestleMania, then yes, I think that's your peak. That's where this all goes to be. However, I mean, if he's not coming and you're trying to backdoor somebody like Sammy into the mix and build your Sammy Mania, that could be the death of Roman Reigns at Mania, and it ends with Sami Zayn standing above everybody, which would be fucking.
But then you're not still, I think, almost. And I'll ask this as a question, I guess, of which can Roman come back better from? Of he loses to Dwayne, the guy who shows up once every couple of years and just I layeth the smacketh down, or he loses to Sammy, and then now we just get super pissed off Roman that's coming for what he feels got snatched out from underneath him.
I think either. I think at this point, like his status, it's like the Undertaker. We've seen Undertaker take big losses, or we've seen Austin or The Rock take.
So you put him in that sphere already.
Yeah, like he's this generation's that guy, and I think, like you said, I think if he loses to Dwayne, he comes back with the excuse of he took me off guard. He wasn't even supposed to be here. It's bullshit. And if it's Sammy that does it or someone else, it's. It was a fluke. Sammy got lucky. Where is he? Bring him out so I can beat him and get my belt back. I think he's at that level that I think he goes away for a while, but when he returns, it'll be impactful.
Fair enough. That's not a bad shout. I do agree with you. If he's right now, he's that alpha and omega, I guess, pun intended, when it comes to WWE. That's why even like to come, I guess, full circle with what we've been talking about of how we've seen reports of WWE sale may not happen until mid-year. So summertime, maybe before SummerSlam or around that there, I guess, potentially, is when we could see a deal for WWE getting sold. So like you said, of of course, you sell after Mania to where you're going to get the highest profit margin coming out of that, and you're going to be at your highest value there.
Yeah, and that's where I think. I mean, it was funny because WrestleMania 37. There was a lot of whispers and vibes about the Vince being interested in selling the company. And everybody felt the same thing. Like we would get like some big announcement if we were going to get an announcement right after WrestleMania in 20 and then in 2021 as well. I know there was a lot of speculation and we were all kind of waiting for like, is there going to be, is there going to be a sale? Is there going to be a draft? Is something going to change? And then nothing happened. And we were all kind of like, okay. So, I mean, now we're kind of in the same boat, but I do think like, what's the peak of this business? Well, that show, I believe, what is it at? Like close to $19 million in WrestleMania, that is. So I think that's kind of the peak of your whole situation. Vince gets one more WrestleMania. I would fully expect we see Vince at WrestleMania no matter what. And yeah, it's the farewell. It's the goodbye. It's sayonara.
It's a WrestleMania in Hollywood. Not a single match has been announced for it, and it's already got the highest gate in WrestleMania in WWE history at this point.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. It's hard to believe that not a thing has been announced for it. Like, and usually we start getting an idea, of things that are brewing. We have speculation of what could happen.
That goes to the chaos, though, that we've seen backstage. So we just don't know what the fuck's going to happen. So just tune in and watch the car crash.
Oh, absolutely. And it's going to be, and I mean, again, we got other shows being announced. You know what WrestleMania is going to be like. You got Supercard of Honor right before it.
Right.
So listen, I expect Tony Khan to be bringing some fucking heavy hitters to that show and making it count. So I mean, yeah, dude, we're in the thick of it right now, and it's crazy times. And I do believe shortly after WrestleMania, we'll hear more about this transaction moving along. And I do still think the Saudis are viably in it to bring this whole show full circle.
Fair enough, I guess. The best way to end it is you can have that. That ain't even what I'm mad at.
Right? So, folks, do not forget, tomorrow, Friday night, Friday. We are here for Triple Header Friday. WWE SmackDown, AEW Rampage, and Impact Hard to Kill will be all covered by us, your alternative commentary for your entire Friday night. Join the party, join the fun. It's always a feel-good Friday around here, and it's going to be a good one. We got questions to be answered. We got to find out if this needle's going to move. Are we going to start getting more build towards Rumble? What's going to play out? What is next for the Bloodline and Sammy? Which someone said it's played out. I think it's awesome. It's the best thing going. One of the best.
Well, we're getting KO Sammy. We're getting potentially the last ride for Mickie James as well.
Yes. So Mickie James has a big match, but right on the thumbnail, KO Sammy. Everyone knows what this means. Everybody knows the history between Sammy and KO. This should be a banger. These boys are going to prove a point. I really feel like this match should be saved for a pay-per-view. However, I feel like the ending is going to get really mucked up and open the door for a return bout when it really matters. But with all that being said, folks, we will also be back on Saturday for a special interview, a special edition of the Rumble with Julie Cutler. Who you can go check out on Fightful.com and other places. What? And with all that being said, folks, this is the Rumble. Big shout out to CJ and Cliff and to everyone out there. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. Thank you, as always, for being a part of these shows. Tell all your friends we do exist. Mr. Nick, how do you feel about the Rumble?
Our shit is real. Our shit is raw. Our shit is authentic. When you're talking about that wrestling, you better put that for life with it.
Thank you, folks. Come back tomorrow. Tell everyone you know. We will be here. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. Have a good night. See you on the flip side. Glitch.